Hello everyone and welcome to another episode. In this episode, we are going to try and add Windows support to our library Clomy.h. To add support to Windows, we need to test Clomy.h in a Windows machine. But that's the catch of today's episode. We are going to build and run a Windows application from Linux. Yes, it is possible. So to achieve this magic, I'm going to use a cross compiler called MinGW. So, as far as my understanding goes, MinGW is a GCC compiler that allows us to compile a portable executable, the Windows standard executable format. So, and on top of that, we're going to be using Wine. So, Wine allows us to run a Windows application. So, it takes in a portable executable file and it literally interprets it, just like a Windows operating system. So we're going to be using both of this and we're going to add Windows support to Clomy.h. But another catch of this today's episode is that I have never worked with Win API. So that's going to be fun. So I'm going to explore things as I go on. And yeah, so let's just get started. So I'm going to create a Docker container and do everything it from there. The reason being, this literally creates another instances of GCC, and I have a GCC already installed, which is compiling for my Linux. So I don't want my GCC to get corrupted in any ways because I tried installing it in another machine and it just got corrupted everything. So I'm gonna do it in a Docker container. So I'm gonna create a Docker container really quick. There you go. Space cd workspace. Okay, so I'm gonna update. I'm gonna just fetch all the updates. So we are gonna be installing MinGW. So I assume it is uh, just this. I'm not sure. I'm gonna be installing Wine. I'm also gonna install Vim, of course. So yep. And I actually forgot we need to also install build essentials to give us make command. So while that's happening, I'm gonna go to coding, and so that's the name of the container. So I'm gonna do docker cp mylib into the workspace directory. Okay, so I basically copied the files from my system, the host system, to the container. So that's ready. Okay, so it seems to be taking a lot of time. So I'm not going to waste any time and learn about how to allocate memory in Windows because I have no clue. So I'm going to assume learn.microsoft.com is going to teach me something today. So let's see. Heap create a private heap alloc. Hmm. Okay. Creates a private heap object that can be used by calling process server space. Hmm. Okay, that didn't seem straightforward enough. Okay, let's take a look at heap alloc. Maybe we have some hope there. Okay, so it accepts h heap. Why is everything in this weird casing? I'm not. I have no clue. Okay, so I'm gonna assume handle is a white pointer, at least to my knowledge, white pointer of something that's obfuscated. So they have a type def called handle. Okay, get process heap. Okay, so I kind of think I understand what is going on here. So we kind of need to create a heap here, if I'm right. So heap creates a heap, or we can use the current process heap, which is our executable, our program. So I think this thing makes sense, and it also doesn't accept any arguments. So okay, let's take a look at the flags. Generate exception. Um, Basically throws exception when there is not enough memory. Okay, no serialization. We don't care about serialization. Zero memory. Okay, why isn't this a default behavior? I don't understand. No, you could have just made this into a default behavior because obviously I expected my memory to be zeroed when I start. Okay, we have my mylib here successfully, and yep. So I'm gonna go behind and make a directory called hello win API. So I also forgot to install the uh, build essential. If I can pronounce essentials correctly. Nope, I can't. I can't pronounce essentials correctly, so I need to use search engine to do the trick for me. Apt get install build essential. Okay, it's not essentials. Okay, I learned something today. Um, the reason why I'm installing build essential is because it gives me commands like make, for example, which is required to make an executable. So yep. Okay, so now I'm gonna create a main.c and I'm gonna just open it with Vim. So I'm gonna write a very boring C program. Holy shit, the tab is crazy. Oh my god, why can't I type today? Okay, I just got scared by the 8 space tabs, which I'm not used to. I'm a 2 space man, so and I'm gonna include windows.h, but I got a little bit of confusion because it says here heap API. It says heap API, but I assume everything is inside of windows.h. At least I know that much, I guess. Okay, let's just try and include windows.h, and yeah, so I am going to quit Vim, and I assume the executable name is x8664w64. Yeah, GCC main.c. Boom, and there we go. We are having a Windows executable inside a Debian container. That's crazy. We just compiled it, and the best part is we can run it. Okay, it's throwing a lot of errors, but it worked. Okay, so will it throw error every time I run wine? It looks like Win32 is missing. You should install it. Hmm. Should I install it? Okay, let me try. Let me just check if what I'm trying to do here works. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna try and follow the instruction. Maybe, who knows? So okay, so let's just try to create a buffer and try and copy something into the buffer. Why not? I think that's the first logical step. We have a handle, so I'm going to create a handle h heap. I'm really not sure about this naming convention. Why do we have okay, so I think it's a handle, so we have a h prefix and a heap. This looks a lot like C++ to me, this naming convention right over here. So is equal to, I plan to use the get process heap, so I'm gonna just do that. And here, now I'm really not sure what this means, but I'm gonna assume it's gonna return pointer. Okay, that's my assumption. So buffer equal to heap alloc, and it takes an h heap. Okay, this Vim is really slow. The completion is slow. So I'm gonna pass this flag. So yeah, next argument is flag. I'm gonna pass this flag, and I'm gonna allocate a buffer of size 16. Why not? Okay. So I'm gonna include string.h so that I can put something here, and I'm gonna do string copy buffer hello. So I'm essentially putting an hello here. So I'm gonna say buff has s, and I'm gonna just print the buff. Now, how can I free this? Do you have any instruction for freeing this? So I'm gonna assume it's gonna be heap free because it's heap alloc. So obviously, yeah, it's heap free. Okay, I got that out of my instincts. So heap free. Why do you want flags to free something? No serialize. Okay, I'm not sure about the serialization stuff going on here, so I'm just gonna ignore that. Hmm. So it accepts a double word. Hmm. I'm gonna just try passing 0 because I hope that works. I don't want any flags, and what I want to free is the buffer, obviously. Now I just noted something. These things can fail for some reason. Hmm. This is all really alien to me, honestly. I know this can fail because you can run out of memory, but I'm not sure why freeing something would fail. That's bizarre, honestly. Okay, so this looks good. So I'm gonna quit out of this, and I'm gonna try and run. Maybe I should make a make file for this. Holy shit! You know what? I'm gonna just make a make file because I'm so lazy. Main.exe, main.c, x86 64 w64 gc. Okay, I forgot the rest of the things. So just a second. So x86 64 w64. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, just copy that. I'm just going to go to the made file. I'm just going to paste this main.c dash o main.exe. Okay, that should do the trick. Because I'm just so used to typing make in my terminal to just make things work. Okay, I should not be doing that. Okay. Okay, so it seems to be working. So that's a little bit bizarre. So I'm gonna edit this to, add a new line. Why not? So make. Okay, so wine. Okay, so now it's clearly visible. So we copied something into the memory, so that works. Okay, so I think now we can just straightly jump into the project, and we can work on that. So thing to note here is you can see we have Clomy.h and Clomy.h.template tmpl. So the reason being is I actually have a lot of boilerplate code in Clomy.h. So I basically use Ginge Python library. So this one here. So I use this library to generate. Now we might need Python to build this. That's gonna be an issue. You know what? I'm just gonna just directly uh, edit the header file directly. I'm not gonna edit the template. I am going to make the changes off screen. So right now we are just gonna edit the header directly and gonna test everything directly. So before I forget, let me quickly then. My God, why is the block selection? I assume that's comment in makefile. How do you comment in makefile? I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm going to just like preemptively remove this just because I don't want to execute something and destroy what we are doing here. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna just edit this. So the way I'm planning to add supportation for Windows is that I'm gonna add like different backends. So right now you can see when I search malloc, we have malloc here, but malloc is from libc. Now, on paper, this code technically works on Windows and Linux. Our library is already kind of cross-platform. I kind of lied that it's not cross-platform because libc is universal across all platforms. But the problem is libc in Windows is kind of slow, at least from what I have heard. Because basically the Win API is like the core API that actually can interact with the operating system, and the libc is kind of like a like a flimsy layer that is built on top of the Win API that is already there. So it has like another layer of abstraction, so that kind of makes the code slow. So it's kind of, even like, I think Microsoft suggests to use Win API as much as possible and avoid libc. So we are going to do that. So the only place we are going to make change is this here, malloc, and we're going to also change the function while we are freeing the chunk. And we also have file get contents. Oh shit. Okay, we also have this file gets contents, so we might also have to modify this. Okay, so the way I actually planned it initially is that I'm gonna have like a define. So whenever the user define Clomy uh, Win API or backend Win API. So whenever a user says Clomy define Win API, we are gonna basically use all the Windows stuff, the Win API stuff. So whenever the user, for example, is on Linux or any Unix like machine, and they say POSIX, uh, POSIX, we are gonna use all the POSIX API, like write mmap instead of malloc, for example. So this is what I have planned in my head. Right now, I'm not going to worry about POSIX because that's boring. Everybody can write POSIX code, but Windows is something new. I have never written a Windows code. So if define this, we are gonna include Windows.h. Ah, I can't really type today. Okay, so if it is included, we are gonna include malloc. Okay, so this is another thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I need to not press tab because this is not my Vim. Need to remember that. Okay. Okay. So if it is Windows, I'm gonna use the okay. Okay. So I'm gonna use heap alloc basically. So I'm gonna yank this. I'm going to uh, delete this, paste this. I should have used capital P, but that's okay. So we need CNK size, and that looks fine. So but we don't have a heap instance. That's another problem. You know what, I'm just going to do this, and boom. So I know this might be a little bit inefficient. We might have to store the heap somewhere in the chunk data somewhere. That should be the actual way, but I'm not bothered. So I'm just going to do this, and maybe off screen I will make this happen. So essentially what I'm trying to tell is we might need to add in the arena. Okay, So we might have to add something like I don't know, heap or data, something like that later. So if it is like depending on the platform, it can vary. So we need to keep it as void pointer, maybe like that. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay. So where am I using free? Okay, arena fold. So when arena fold, I'm using free. So I'm going to do if define. Can I do a line completion? There you go. And if so, this should be the else case. So if it is defined, I need to. Uh, okay, this is annoying. So I'm going to say auto read, no auto write. So I'm gonna do that so that Vim can shut up. Okay. Okay. Okay, I should not use tab. Okay, I should properly. I should be a little bit responsible. So, okay, so we need heap pointer here again. Okay, this is really becoming a problem here. Okay, we might have to do something here, but I'm not gonna do that just yet. Um, okay, so we might need to free CNK. Okay, so that might just work, honestly. Just a second. About that. So, can I do a tab terminal? Okay, that works. So, okay, so I'm gonna make clean. I'm gonna make. Is this using which GCC? Let's find out. File test. Okay, okay. This is using shell. Can I get bash here? Thank you. Okay. That was using sh for some weird reason. So I'm gonna do file test 01 out. We don't have file command. Amazing. No, Debian should just come with this command by default, in my opinion. Okay, so we just compiled for Linux. So I'm going to do cc. Oh my god, we might need that command. Hello, make file. Thank God I typed this inside of Vim. Okay, so we might need to do cc and there you go, make. I assume that's gonna use the the GCC of WinGW. I'm not sure, so we're gonna check that out. Test 01 dot out. Okay, so there you go. It's a P232 plus executable. So before it was ELF executable, which is like the Windows format. I mean the Linux format. What am I blabbering? ELF is the Linux format and P32 is the Windows format. So this is Windows. We can't just like run like this won't work because it can't read that. So we need to use wine to run this. Okay, so it's actually working. So we are actually allocating memory. Okay, holy shit. I didn't think this would just work like that. Now the only thing that is remaining is we need to study how to read files in Windows. Already we made like half of the progress. So this is going to be easy. So um, not command prompt read file API. Come on. Okay, read file, obviously. So it takes a handle, it takes a buffer, number of lines to read. This is a little bit tricky. So create file. Hmm. Okay, so maybe can I just do like read file bin API example C code, and I'm gonna ask Google this time. And okay, okay, so this is better than reading the docs. Honestly, I honestly believe search engines I truly believe LLMs are uh, like the next generation of search engines because like rather than reading the docs and trying to infer, this just gives me a source code that I can tinker around and work. That's great. So I'm gonna cd into an API so that hello.txt. I'm gonna say hello world here. So okay, let's look at it. So we need a handle. So fh file and number of buffers, file path. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment out this code so that we have the code and uh, you know what, I might need a buffer honestly, so we can actually get rid of this code. That should do it. So basically I'm trying to allocate a 16-byte buffer and h file equal to create file and the file name, so it's in cases hello.txt. Obviously we are going to do a generic read. I'm just going to look at the docs to know what does generic read means. So, win API, what was the function? Create file. Yeah, it's create file. Okay. Okay, so I kind of believe like we need to use docs and an example code side by side to know what it is actually doing. So I was gonna look at generic read. Okay, so basically there are. Hmm. Okay, so I assume this is like the in libc we do f open file name and we do like read, and if we want to write we do write. I assume this is the similar case, but it's in a bit mask rather than a string, which is honestly fine. It is even much more better than a string, you know. Okay, what, honestly, what is this? What am I looking at? File share delete, file share read, file share write. Okay, so this is getting a little bit tricky right now. So I assume, you know what, I'm just gonna say 0 because right now we are not in a multi-threaded environment. So I'm just gonna ignore that. So it says security attributes. Um, okay, so it's holy shit. I truly can't, from coming from a POSIX world, this is like a really bizarre thing to, even comprehend. Because like in POSIX, uh, okay, we don't have man here. I'm gonna open my system. Oh my god. I just okay. So here we go. So like in POSIX, it's like really easy to understand what is going on and read all the arguments here. So there you go. It just basically gives you an argument. Boom, that's an integer. That's a void. That's a size d. But in Windows, it's like really bizarre. Like what is like d word? What is this ls security attributes? I mean LP security attributes. Like I cannot quickly wire things in my head, and it's really something that is kind of new to me right now. That's why I'm taking some time to learn. open existing. So, oh my god, I just clicked something. Open existing. Usually set to open existing. Create always open existing. Okay, so this is this. Okay, so this is basically saying should be always open existing. I think I'm gonna go with open existing here. So I'm gonna pass uh, null here first of all. So this is a security attribute, and I'm gonna say open existing. Then what else we have? File attribute normal. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So we have file attributes archive. Okay, so this is basically saying what type of file it is. I assume it has like archive, it has encrypted, it has temporary. So our file is none of that. So I'm gonna just go with normal. Like it's kind of bizarre that I'm like assuming a lot of things to just to write to a file. That's what I'm trying to convey here. Like when I started learning the POSIX API, it wasn't like this difficult to there weren't like a lot of things in my lot of things I have to specify to just like to do this. We have a temporary file here, temp file. Oh, so what does that do? Can I know? Okay, so yep. So I think it uses this file for something internally. That's what I assume. Like, oh my god, look at the size of this code. Oh my god. Okay, so it could return and handle invalid value. So can I know what kind of errors are there? Okay, this is the only error it seems. So we need to check for this. Okay, so if uh, h file is equal to this, I'm just going to return 1 because I'm lazy today. I'm not going to print. You know what? I'm just going to print. Uh, there you go. That should tell me. That is enough for this. And we have read file. Okay, so we need to look at another API. This is going crazy. So I'm going to go win API. Buffer. Did we pass a buffer here? Oh, I. Okay, this create or opens a file. But for reading, you need read. And we need to pass a buffer. Okay, that, that could make sense. Okay, so we opened the file and now we are gonna read the file. Um, what does read file return? Okay, it just returns a boolean, so it's kind of makes sense to keep that everything inside an if condition, like how they gave here. So I'm gonna pass my h file. I'm gonna pass my buffer. I'm gonna pass size of buffer -1. So number of bytes to read. So we are basically reducing 1 byte so that we can have a null byte at the end. So that's the motto. So I assume we are passing a pointer to a d word so that it will basically change the value and tell us how many bytes it actually read. So I assume that's the reason. So we are gonna do the same. I'm gonna space this out. Uh, what can I call this? Bytes read. Let's say 0 and okay. Know what? This Vim is very slow inside Docker. The completion is taking time. And null. Overlapping structure and asynchronous IO not used here. Okay, what is that? Can I get a docs for that? Hmm. Windows 7 parameter null. Oh my god, this is getting. I'm gonna just assume and gonna put null here. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. And if everything fails, that means if it is false, um, we are going to. I'm just going to print read file fail. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to return with exit code 1. Okay, now what are we doing? So we are essentially adding the null byte. That makes sense. I can understand that. So bytes red. Okay, the completion is like frozen. Okay, I'm not sure why is it very slow inside Docker. I just press Control P. So in Vim, you can like complete with the file. So for example, if I want to type this create file, I can say create and I can press Control P and look, it just frozen. So let me show in my Vim. So I don't know, I'm gonna open my Vimasi for example. So for example, I wanna do this wild ignore here. If I just press wild and I press Control P, it'll just instantly complete. So I'm just used to pressing the completion and I'm just like, keep on waiting for it to complete. This is worse than SSH, honestly. Vims in SSH are really faster than Docker. That's why I'm really surprised. Um, okay, what was I doing? Okay, I just closed the buffer and we're gonna just print the content. So yeah, um, just gonna print the buffer and we need to close the handle. Okay, I'm not sure what does handle means because like the heap has a handle and the the file has a handle. Do we also need to close the handle for heap? Is that how that works? I'm not sure. You know what? I'm just gonna try and make things work now, and I'm gonna do all my research work off camera. I'm gonna take my time and read over things. Okay, so that should essentially work. I'm just gonna exit this terminal and I'm gonna create a new tab terminal. Bash. Okay, I'm inside Vim API. So can I do make? Okay. Okay, so it printed hello world. So I'm gonna modify the content a little bit so that we can little bit see things properly. Make this and a.exe. Wait a second, what is happening here? Uh, okay, I need to run main.exe. Okay, so I'm gonna remove a.exe because it's creating confusion. So okay, so it didn't fully read. It just read tell hello because I think the buffer overflowed. Is that what is happening? I'm gonna just give 32 and see what works. Okay, so wine main. Okay, I need to run main.exe obviously. Okay, it still truncates to hello w. I wonder why. Hmm. Is this wrong? Maybe this is wrong. So I'm gonna try to give 31. Maybe the size of the buffer is slightly incorrect. Maybe. Um, I'm not sure really. Honestly, this one. Okay. Wine. Okay, so the buffer size was incorrect. I think size of is giving incorrect size. Maybe we need to use something equivalent of size of then. Win API size of equivalent. Just a second. Sorry about that. Um, um, I'm not sure, but I can say for certain that was the issue. Okay, so we are gonna basically, kind of implement the same thing over there. So I'm gonna cd back to mylib, and I'm gonna do Clomy.h. So read, where is the f open? There you go. So we're gonna say if win API, we are gonna basically this is gonna be else block, and so we're gonna do all our win API stuff here. Essentially, I'm just gonna copy paste all these things, but I'm kind of afraid because the indentation is wrong. Maybe I should bring my vimrc here. That's the ideal thing to do. I'm not sure. Path, the completion is sucks here. Okay, so if not h file, I'm just gonna return null because that's the procedure we follow here. We are going to try and read the file, and if that fails, I'm also going to return null here. And yep, so we just need to copy it to the buffer, and we are using our string builder here, so might as well. Because the way I read file here is I'm reading it character by character, so I don't have a buffer. So that's bizarre. So I'm just gonna search bin API read file character by character example. We might need to also do the same here. Generic read, file read. I'm just gonna compare with what we have here. So file read, null, open existing. Okay, that remains all the same. So what about here? So okay, so we can just pass size of character here instead of okay, so I think I got it. I think I got it. So we are gonna make this into while, and we are gonna, rather than passing 31, we are gonna press size of character. I assume how much we wanna read. Okay, we might need to maintain this. I'm gonna just use the same naming to have the same naming convention here. And what are we doing here? We are passing null. Okay, so I assume what it is doing is every time it reads something, this while loop is gonna pass, and we get a character. I assume that's what is going on, and we need a character buffer, which I assume is gonna be just a character. There you go. I'm going to also paste this entire thing over here, and yep. So rather than buff, we are gonna use ch buffer. That's a pointer, so we don't need to worry about it. And here I'm gonna do, okay, I should not do no AI, disabling the AI feature. Oh my god, why is it still doing that? Okay, I need to manually mash my space bar there. I assume it's gonna just work because this is very bizarre. It's char. It's a Windows type. Will string builder support this? Um, Not sure. Can I just keep it as like that and make things work? Uh, this is really bizarre. I assume that's gonna work because I kind of want everything to be cross-platform, and Windows is not letting me do that. It's crazy. So after everything is done, we are closing the file. So that looks like the perfect code for me, in my eyes at least. So I'm going to exit this terminal and I'm going to create a new tab terminal and bash, of course. And I'm going to do cc. I'm going to do that. Okay, it complied without any problem. I think we have an example here. Yeah. So this is the example that we saw in the last episode. So I recommend checking the last episode. So it basically, goes through the poem.txt, and it basically, counts the maximum number of words and just say how many times it appears. By the way, Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, really great poem. I'm just keep, you know, mentioning the poem. So I'm gonna do wine01 dot out. Okay, that seems to be working, but it's keep on looping. Actually, I just remembered something. We are not actually really checking anything. We need to go to not test examples. Yeah, I really forgot something. How did I forget this? I need to do Clomy Win API. Okay, what did I call it? I'm just okay. There you go. That's what I called it. Okay, I really forgot to add that. So we didn't really check anything then. We were using libc all along. Okay, now it complains. Okay, so I need to use a proper make, obviously. Okay, we actually getting errors right now. All along we were just using libc. Oh my god, that's so me. Okay, that's so me. Okay, it says h file is undeclared. Okay, we might declare that. Handle h file. What else you want? Um, it says sp upon ch character buffer. Okay, I need to change that to ch basically, and that is unused. Well, we can do something like file to make that used. Are you satisfied now? Are you satisfied? Um, Rest is uninitialized. Um, it's complaining in 2162. Um, okay, we basically need to, uh, I'm just gonna move that outside so it doesn't complain. And yep, okay, that is work. That seems to be working. So, hmm, it looks like WinAPI missing. Multi-architecture need execute. Maybe I need to execute that. Now I'm thinking about that. Hmm. Okay. Okay, Vim is not allowing me to select anything. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna exit Vim. I'm just going to run samples. Wine. Oh my god, what is going on here? It just splashed a lot of bytecode in. Okay, so what it is saying? Hmm. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and run this. and then we can take a look at it. So that seems safe. I'm in a container, so that's not a problem. Oh my god, that installs a lot of things, and we are already 50 minutes into the video. I'm just gonna, if it exceeded 1 hour, I'm just gonna wrap the video there. We can see how far we can go. I think we already made a lot of progress in today's episode, so I'm really happy. So I will wrap it when the 1 hour mark hits, so we can program till that. Unpacking. Before I'm forgetting, I might need to, you know, uh, I'm just gonna space. Okay. Okay. So I'm just like taking a backup of everything what we have done because the session is coming to an end. So does it work right now? I mean, not that. Out. Okay, cannot load kernel32.dll. I'm not really sure what is going on. All along we weren't doing anything. Um, but this thing worked. How did this work then? Now it gives me the same error. Maybe I just maybe I just crashed my entire container over here. I might have to reset the container and try it. But okay. But anyways, I'm happy with the progress we made here. So we are gonna just revisit that. Uh, okay, so in this episode, what we have basically done is we basically wrote this code that kind of deals it in a cross-platform way. I am gonna later on add a POSIX here, so it's gonna be like Clomy backend POSIX. So there I'm gonna put the Linux code there. So yeah, so I'm really happy with the progress we made here. I might have to port this to the template file. I'll do that off camera because that's boring. Who wants to see that? And yeah, so we made a lot of progress here. I'm really happy with what we have done today. So that's it for today's video. So I'm gonna see you later. Adios.